warning.
Right. And clearly, part of the humor was that, you know, the way it got out is that we were displayed as, you know, kooks and nerds and freaks who lived in the basement kind of thing.
And that, I have found, is what happens in reality.
Well, I'm sorry. Sorry that you're part of that genre now.
Well, no, but I mean, people who said the world was round were kooks at first. So.
That's right. And, you know, that's how, I guess that's how it grows as society is. You know, first somebody comes up with an idea that everybody's going, and then we all learn from there.
Just one or two questions left. I don't know if you're aware of this. You ever heard the name of Lionel Chetwynd?
Lionel Chetwynd.
He made those made-for-TV movies where Bush is his hero and he saved people on 9/11.
Yes, right. That producer?
Yes, that producer. He was made the president of Bush's media council.
When did that happen?
A few years ago.
Was this after he produced those things?
And it was before. He produces them while he's on this council. And he interfaces with Bruckheimer and all these bigwigs. But I was, for the Conspiracy Zone that Kevin Nealon did for a while, I was a guest out there, and Chetwynd walked into the communal bathroom, kind of like the famous movie While I'm at the Urinal,
right.
and said, "You're Alex Jones. We're about to go on TV together." Yeah, and he goes, "I'm Lionel Chetwynd. We're going to get you." And he told me, "We're going to get you." Well, I took that serious. I went on the air, and I later got a call by his lawyer, and I said, "Hey, when we walked out," because I talked about it on the radio, when we walked outside, go out, and the producers were there, I go, "Lionel Chetwynd just said they're going to get me." And he joked and said, "Yeah, well, I was just joking." So I said, "You better go back, Mr. Lawyer, and ask him and ask the producers." And they called back and apologized. They were trying to intimidate me to shut up. I have the mainstream news articles where Lionel Chetwynd and others went and met with Hollywood and said, right after 9/11, we want the media to and TV to portray a positive government image, not an anti-government image. And this was quoted, like the X-Files. Now, I don't know if you were aware of that,
No, I wasn't.
but I'm interested in your view on that.
Well, see, when I travel around the world, it seems that the show is actually much more popular in Europe and Australia because of its anti-government message and how the U.S. government is, you know, seen by the rest of the world as kooky and crazy. And here was a show to back that up. It was sort of a, you know, they saw that as a bright light that someone else was thinking like the rest of the world, as opposed to following the, you know, propaganda line. The interesting thing that I had heard, that this goes back before even Lionel Chetwynd, that Chris Carter was at a cocktail party, and he felt very out of place, and apparently he was in a tuxedo way in the corner, and the psychic came over to him and said, "Whatever you're working on is going to make you a ton of money." And that was just before he did the X-Files. Well, that psychic I talked to, I go, "What were you doing at the Hollywood party?" She goes, "I was hired by the CIA to go to parties and then just go home and email what I talked about at people." So the CIA has been tracking Hollywood parties since the 80s in order to determine, because, you know, Hollywood films are a...
They set the agenda.
They set a foreign policy, sort of. I mean,
it's a projection. It's America's dominance. They admit a lot of it's Hollywood.
Right. And so they want to make sure that all the producers and the writers, that nobody's thinking anything so radical or doing a movie that will completely undermine their foreign policy plans. And that they do that through sending women to parties and having them email. It's the weirdest thing. It's kind of creepy. Everybody I tell in Hollywood, all my actor friends, are kind of freaked out about it.
Well, they admit that there's been a long time program. I mean, shows like SWAT on TV, or, you know, if you want to get...
JAG and all those military shows.
Well, they have Threat Matrix 24. In England, the show's called Spooks, and now they torture children on the shows to get answers, so the terrorists will answer questions. They torture their child, but the good guys have to torture the child because that's how we save the earth. So we're being, you know, these moral dilemma, you know, questions are training us that torture's okay.
Right, and this becomes, you know, as an actor, the question is, well, are you going to audition for that? You know, there's a part where the tire hits the road when you're in Los Angeles, where suddenly you are called to audition for things that are questionable, that have not just, you know, is it a good film, bad film, but now you're actually seeing, as, you know, more that I research this stuff, you're seeing part of that machine come right through your own backyard. It's very, very creepy.